Hi, I'm Dr. Robert D. McDonald. I've created the Destination Method. My wife, Dr. Lizette McDonald, and we've created the Telos Healing Center. I want to talk to you a little bit now about grief. In my own life, I've known a great deal about grief personally because my father committed suicide when I was 27, and I had to deal with the shock, the trauma, and the grief of that. I also had two sisters and a brother who died when I was a boy, when I was 4 years old, when I was 9, and when I was 10. So my life was profoundly impacted by grief and the shock and the trauma and the depression and the anxiety and all the upset that comes from the loss of loved ones. So my interest in grief is not academic. My interest is personal, although I did do a significant academic examination of it. When I got my Master of Science degree in counseling and mental health, I did my master's degree thesis on unresolved grief reaction in survivors of suicide. I'm a survivor of suicide. And so it turns out that my wife, Dr. Lizette, is also a survivor of suicide. Her late husband committed suicide. We have that in common. We understand perfectly the deep sorrow, the great suffering that comes from being a survivor of suicide until it's resolved. And what is hard for many people to understand is that grief can be resolved, and that, in fact, I have helped thousands of people resolve their grief and done it worldwide. The reason I've been able to do it worldwide is because human beings have exactly the same structure. They're made of the same structure, mental structure, in every country and in every culture and every language. The way that we think is the same way. We think through representations, irrespective of language. So I can tell you that in working with people, I found out that it's possible to resolve grief because I was so fortunate to meet Steve and Connie Ray Andreas of Colorado. They taught me that grief could be resolved because using their genius, they examined and found out that some people were able to resolve grief quickly and thoroughly, and many people not. Then they modeled the mental structures that went into resolving grief. Once they found out how people resolved grief naturally and normally, they were then able to codify that and to teach it. I went to Colorado because I thought that it was not possible. I'd written my master's thesis. I didn't think it was possible to resolve grief in one session, but I learned from them that it was. And as a consequence of that, I decided to become a world expert on the resolution of grief and to teach it worldwide. In fact, I've worked with so many people who come to me and they say, you know, I miss so-and-so. Grief is just another word for I miss someone. I feel a sense of emptiness or concavity in the chest whenever I think about the person. I have tears, I have sorrow. And this is normal and natural. Some people never get over their grief. Some people hold on to their grief because they're convinced that if they let go of the grief, it will mean that they didn't love the person who passed away. There are many objections to resolving grief. I have nothing against that. If people want to keep their grief, it's truly their business. And so I don't tell people that they should or shouldn't resolve their grief. I only ask people the Destination Method questions, which is, do you want to resolve the grief? Do you want to? If you don't want to, it's perfectly fine. But if you do want to resolve grief, to feel whole again, to feel full again, it can be done. We've been doing it for years. The way it's done is by having someone pay attention to what they're seeing in their mind's eye when they think of the one who has passed away. And what they do is they change the way they think of that person, consequently healing their own emotional life. It's very similar to what happened in Virginia. There's a mining company called Sago Mines, and many years ago there was a mine disaster. It crashed on a dozen men, and all the relatives came to the mine waiting to find out the news as to whether or not their relatives underneath the ground had died. They were convinced that they had died, so they were all in tears waiting for more news. Then some news came that said that all those people actually had lived, that no one had died under the ground. All the relatives began to celebrate. People who didn't even know each other were hugging each other, kissing each other. They were completely and totally joyous with a total sense of the presence of their relatives who they now believed were alive. Then about 3 hours later, the CEO learned that in fact those people that he thought were alive were in fact dead. He did not want to tell the relatives that they were in fact dead. He was aware of how painful that'd be. Eventually he did. When that happened, the people who were joyous went into grief. and anger and upset that they thought these people were alive and now they're dead. But the key to this, what's important about this, is that as long as they thought of their relatives in a certain way, they didn't have grief. And this is true of me in my life. When I think of my father, I don't think of him as lost and gone and in the past. I don't see him as dead in a coffin. I actually think of him as present with me, just as I think of anyone who is not in the room. Someone I love. When my wife, Dr. Lizette, is not with me, I look around the room, she's not with me, I don't grieve her because I think of her as with me, even when she's not with me. This is changing the mind, and there's a way to do it that is solid and predictable, and people genuinely resolve their grief in a very short time. I look forward to you coming and learning more about what we're doing with the Destination Method by listening to these, watching these videos, and then perhaps calling us. We're happy to talk with you.